Hello and welcome back to Yale All Access. This is Adlon Adams from Max Valentine as you are currently watching the Yale men's ice hockey team take on the Colgate Raiders here at Ingalls after a long stretch on the road for the Bulldogs, 5 games in a row. Last weekend, the Bulldogs came away with 1 loss and 1 win. On Friday, it was a 4-1 loss to the Quinnipiac Bobcats, our near neighbors in Hamden, Connecticut. There were no power play goals, given that there were 11 penalties. Pretty rare, Max, that we don't have a power play goal, given the strength of those two teams' special teams. Wilson and Marisic split time in net as Malcolm was still out. Agostino put up the 1 tally of the night for the Bulldogs, his 13th goal of the season. On Saturday, the Bulldogs took on the Princeton Tigers, had a big 4-3 win. It was a big show for the underclassmen on the Bulldogs. Day opened up scoring for the Bulldogs. Fallon followed on a goal on the power play. Following up was Obakowski tied 3-3, and Carson Cooper clinched the game for the Bulldogs with his first career goal of the season. Tonight, the Bulldogs will be taking on the Raiders. Max, you want to take us through their key players and their strengths?
Well, absolutely, Adam. Just looking back to last weekend, big win for the Bulldogs, snapping that 5-game losing skid. They're coming in here back to Ingalls to rank after a tough February. The team went 2-5 in the month of February, certainly looking to get things started off on the right foot here now that the calendar's turned. We're in the 1st of March here. And tonight they welcome in the Colgate Raiders. You see Jeff Malcolm there inside the Yale cage getting ready for tonight's game. The Colgate Raiders, a young team, a team that's seen its ups and downs this year. This certainly picked up a big win earlier this year against the Yale squad. The Raiders had the 4-1 win up in Star Arena earlier this year. But on the whole, they've struggled over the course of the year, but a very young team. A lot to look forward to for this Colgate squad. Their top 3 scorers are freshmen, Spink, Bond, and Murphy leading the way for them, and they can really run 3-4 whole scoring lines here, 4 scoring lines with 10 goals apiece for the Raiders. Their top 3 lines, each of them has a 10-goal score, and when we talk about those freshmen, you can 45 goals, 117 points coming from the freshman class this year. So certainly a team that's still growing, putting it all together, but certainly a formidable opponent, already having beaten Yale once, now coming here into Ingalls looking to do it again.
You know, Max, looking at this ECAC pair-up, this is a big game for the Bulldogs if they want a first-round bye. There are currently 8 teams in contention for 3 of those first-round byes. Bulldogs will need to win tonight in order to get further up in the standings. 4 points separate second place from 7th place. This is a very tight race.
Well, absolutely, Adam. Let's pull up those ECAC standings. We have them there available for us. And as they come up, Quinnipiac above and beyond. They've run away from everyone else, 35 points. They've secured themselves a top finish this year. RPI, St. Lawrence, Yale, Dartmouth, Union, Clarkson still fighting it out for the bye there. The Bulldogs, if they win out, they will get a bye. And that's really all that needs to be said about that. This Yale team doesn't have to worry about anybody else. If they keep doing their thing and winning their games, they will get a bye. However, if you lose a point here and there, things can get interesting. We got a lot of tiebreakers to be applied in the ECAC. The first tiebreaker is your head-to-head record, so the Bulldogs will have a good tiebreak against teams they've beaten twice and a less fortunate tiebreak against teams that have had the best against the Elis. Right now, the Bulldogs look pretty good in terms of the overall tiebreak spot, but of course, it's going to come down to the standings, and points come above everything else, so the Bulldogs are going to be in need of 4 more points this weekend here at Ingalls.
They definitely will be, Max, and we now have Jeff Malcolm being announced on the ice. Great to have him back here at home. After his injury, we had to have some split time between our other 2 goalies.
No, absolutely, Adlin. This team has really gelled in front of Jeff Malcolm this year. You know, if you look at the stat sheets with Malcolm and Marisic, have put up pretty similar numbers over the course of their careers. But this year, this team has really played much better as a whole unit in front of Jeff Malcolm. You know, Coach Elaine talked to you before tonight's game about the confidence that a goaltender can give to the skaters in front of him, and I think that's certainly something that you see this year with this Yale team. They just seem to have it all put together better when they're playing in front of Jeff Malcolm. And of course, Jeff came back on Saturday night. The Bulldogs picked up the win to snap that skid that began the game after his injury. It's not too hard to connect the dots there. Well, as we mentioned, Adlin, you had a chance to talk with Yale's head coach Keith Elaine prior to tonight's game. Let's take a look at that interview.
Hello and welcome to Yale All Access. This is Adlon Adams ringside with head coach Keith Elaine as we watch the Yale men's ice hockey team take on the Colgate Raiders. Last weekend, the Bulldogs were on the road and had a split, a loss 4-1 to Quinnipiac and a win over the Princeton Tigers 4-3. Coach, how do you think your team played?
I thought we played well, actually, both nights. I mean, we got behind early up at QPAC, but it was a pretty even first period. They happened to score, and I thought we played outstanding on Saturday night against Princeton.
Great win for the Bulldogs against an Ivy rival. Jeff Malcolm will be back in net for the Bulldogs after playing last weekend. How do you think that impacts this team?
Well, you know, goaltending to me is the most important position in all of team sports, and, teams derive their confidence from their goaltender, and Malcolm is a 4-year player for us. He's a guy his teammates like and respect, and he's going to be a big factor for us tonight.
And then coming off of 5 straight away games, how do you think it'll impact your team being back at home tonight?
We love playing here at home. I mean, the crowds are always great. It's a different routine when you're at home, and I think we'll be a better team because we're back at home.
Looking now to our opponent tonight, what do you think are Colgate's strengths?
Colgate's a physical team. They play with great speed, and they get scoring from all 3 of their top lines, so they're a formidable opponent.
And lastly, what do you think that the Yale team will have to do to win tonight?
Well, we've got to play our game. I think that we need to get scoring from more than one line and stay out of the penalty box, and Malcolm has got to come up big in net.
This is Adlon Adams with head coach Keith Elaine.
So we welcome you back inside Ingalls Rink, another rendition of the national anthem here, Yale Precision Marching Band, and we're just a minute away from the face-off now as the number 14, number 15, depends on who you listen to, Yale Bulldogs host the Colgate Raiders.
No, Max, this is a really big game here tonight. Really excited to be back at Ingalls. We haven't been here for a while. Month of February, the Bulldogs went 2-5, 5 of those games on the road. They broke their 5-game losing streak against Princeton down in New Jersey, 4-3. Big win for the Bulldogs. Excellent showing by the underclassmen. Really shows the depth of this team.
Well, absolutely. On this Bulldogs team, they're going to have to rely on their freshmen and sophomores. We've said it all year. It's going to be true as the season continues on here. And, for a Yale team that's currently tied for 14th in the pairwise, that's really right about the cut line for where you want to be. 14th, 15th, you got to play it safe there in case a non-qualifying team wins their tournament. So for the Bulldogs, really, the NCAA tournament begins now. You keep winning, you got a chance to fight for that national title. But if things go south, you might not have that opportunity.
As both teams take the ice, we'll see Jeff Malcolm back in net for the Bulldogs. Big impact for this team so far this year. Bukowski will join him on defense along with Fallon, Agostino, Root, and Miller back together for the Bulldogs. Yale's top line as they will now go up on the face-off. The Raiders will send out Wilson, Bourdon, and Bond. Face-off won by the Raiders. Shot back to Larkin. Larkin regroups into his own zone over to Law. Law looking for that threaded pass through the neutral zone. Shot and just over the shoulder of Malcolm. Puck back into neutralized, flipped up. Shot caught down by Root. It's stuck on the blue line. Yale unable to hold the zone. Goes back to Tommy Fallon. Fallon behind his own net looking for an outlet. Looking for Lagunier right off the bench. Tries to get a move around Larkin. Shot back out into the neutral zone, picked up by Young. Young whiffs on the pass, finds Orzetti. Swinging down through neutral ice. O'Gara loses the puck. Young back to O'Gara. Hard forecheck by the Raiders. Shot back up to the point. Johnston trying to hold the zone against Orzetti and is unsuccessful as it comes back out to Spink. Spink over to Borkowski, leaving it back for Sintz. Cross ice pass for the Raiders. Down deep into the zone, leaving it for Borkowski to chase down. Comes out to Weberg on the breakout. Weberg flips it out, looking for Orzetti. Spink knocking it away from Orzetti. Orzetti behind the net. Shot out in front, hits a skate. Back out to the point to Duick. Duick looking for a shot. Hits a Raider instead as it goes back down into the corner. Carson Cooper now. Back to Duick. Duick loses it on the blue line. Flips it over to Wittick.
Yeah, a bit dangerous there by Duick. He just threw it back behind him blind.
Shot back up the boards by Duick. Misses Weberg. So he caught something there. There's no icing. Corcoran trying to get out of his own zone. Balch holding tight. Anthony Day flipping it back in. Picked up instead by Corcoran. Day with an interception on the pass. Throws it back in deep for Ruffalo to chase down, joined by Bourbonnais. Coming around his net, Price finds defensive partner Corcoran. Corcoran back to Price. Center ice pass up to Bratliff as he gets around Obakowski. Misfired pass finds Day to Ruffalo. Ruffalo up to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais, nice move over the blue line, looking for Day in the slot. Barely misses his stick. Shot back over to Law. Coming now, Law through the neutral zone over the red line, unable to flip it in. Goes on net instead. Malcolm leaving it for Young. Young to Obakowski. Decided to skate it up back to team captain Andrew Miller. Miller to Root, loses it. Back to Miller on the backhand. Yale unable to find that stick. That puck as it's thrown in front of the net. There is a fight in front of the net. Back to center ice. Young is able to push it down. There have not been any whistles here, Max, in the first period.
Yeah, really. Things moving quickly here early on. Good chances for the Bulldog there a moment ago, right in front of the cage.
Lagunier picks it up off the bench, trying to get around as there's a delayed penalty. Lagunier falling from a great height.
Oh, you know, Lags there drawing the call. It's a good opportunity now for the Bulldogs. Come out here on the power play. See a moment ago that puck just bouncing around in front of Mihalik's crease. No one there able to get a stick on it. Agostino coming close and paying the price for it there. But the Bulldogs now get their first chance on the power play. 20.9% on the year. Good for 15th nationally. Colgate penalty kill, 19th in the nation, 83.7%.
Looks like Carson Cooper has earned his spot as center on the power play after he clinched the win for the Bulldogs against Princeton. He's joined by Ruffalo and Lagunier. Young over to Obakowski.
We got a Colgate defender without a stick here. It's effectively 5-on-3 now.
Shot by Obakowski, deflected by Ruffalo in front of the net. Ruffalo stealing it from underneath his glove. Shot back to Young. Pass, shot back into the corner. Lagunier shot as Cooper goes down in the paint. Ruffalo, Lagunier, and Cooper all below the goal line as Ruffalo comes out with possession. Ruffalo back to Lagunier. Lagunier fakes it over to Young to Obakowski. Obakowski back to Young. Young to Obakowski at the top of the play. Lagunier looking for a perfect pass. Threading the needle. Misses Young. Holding the zone. Cooper throws it back in. Colgate defender still without a stick. Wrapping around Lagunier. In front of the net. Ruffalo misses his chance. Back into the corner. Root back to Lagunier. Lagunier at the top of the circle, struggling to hold on to the puck as Yale contains the zone. Obakowski to Agostino, leaving it for Miller off the bench. Finally getting out of their own end as Ligit fires it back. Agostino on the turnover. Away from Betcher to Miller. One-timer score for the Bulldogs. Andrew Miller, what a one-timer.
Wow, that's a great play there. That all starts, you say moments ago, it all starts. Colgate player loses a stick. It was Borkowski without one. So those defenders were pinned into their zone for a good minute there. They were absolutely gassed. Finally get a chance to change, and the Bulldogs catch them in the middle of that change, come in 3-on-2, and then it's just a bomb from Andrew Miller. Great feed there from Agostino. So you see Miller just lay into that one. Mahalik stands no chance. That's Miller's 13th on the season, 37th in his career, and it's 1-0 Eli's.
What an unbelievable shot, Max. That was right on target. Agostino knew exactly where to find Miller. Beautiful shot.
Well, those guys have been playing with each other now for 3 whole seasons, so they almost know where each other is on the ice without having to think about it too much at this point.
Draw one back to Law as he backhands it down the ice. Malcolm coming out his net is almost taken out from behind by Rivellini. Shot out by Balch all the way down on net. Bulldogs on the forecheck out to Duick. Fakes the shot rips the wrister from the blue line as Wittick over to Duick. Duke with a shot blocked by Colgate for the net. Nico Weberg almost getting that one. Breakout for Colgate. Wittick up the boards to Agostino. Agostino hit by 2 players. Root getting a little caught up in front of the penalty box. Colgate working behind their own net. Team captain Jeremy Price skating out with the puck. Thomas Larkin. Obikowski back into the corner over to Spink. Fallon coming out with a nifty little move there right behind his own net. Skating through center ice. Looks for a backhand shot, easily pushed away. Back down the ice it goes.
It's going to go all the way down for icing. Yeah, look, a moment ago, nifty skating there by Fallon. He carried that puck all the way back from behind Jeff Malcolm's cage in on net. As you see the moment ago, the goal, that stick there laying on the far corner still. Miller excited to score that one here in senior weekend at Ingalls Rink. Andrew Miller gives the Yale squad 1-0 lead.
Bulldogs on the draw. One back to Lagunier. Lagunier with a shot easily pushed away by Mihalik. As Orzetti goes into the boards, knees first. Lagunier fighting for possession. Orzetti back over to Lagunier. Lagunier coming out from behind the corner. Leaving it for Orzetti, instead picked up by Sintz. Coming over the blue line, over the red line, looking for a player on the back door, instead picked up by Wilson. Shot back in by Spink. Picked up by O'Gara. O'Gara up to Wilson. Wilson doing a little skating through the neutral zone. Picked up instead by Bourdon, shooting it off the glass. Colgate on the forecheck. O'Gara with a hit in the corner. Wilson to Balch. Colgate coming in, looking for a shot, misses the pass. That was Joe Wilson as it comes back around the corner, around the boards. Balch on the breakout, skates it through neutral ice over to Cooper. Cooper shoots it in deep, looking for Weberg. Hard hit on Weberg. He's pushed off the puck. Breakout for the Raiders up to Bond. Wilson now with possession, loses it. Bourdon there to pick it up. Shot and save by Malcolm. Deflection picked up by Duick over to Weberg.
That's Jeff's first save of the night. Colgate hasn't tested him yet. 8-1 unofficially, the shot count now in favor of the Bulldogs.
Law shooting it deep, opposite corner. Wittick with a big hit there. Breakout for the Bulldogs. Day cross ice over to Ruffalo. Picked up instead by the Raiders. Obikowski pinching down to hold the zone. As Bourbonnais steps in to help him out. Some trouble along the boards, unable to contain. Goes back out to Fallon. Fallon flips it in. Bulldogs seem to be playing a little dump and chase game here early in the first. Bartlett coming out with the puck over to Fallon. Fallon gloves it down for the Bulldogs. The pass is stopped right inside his own blue line. Now we have Root. Root over the red line through neutral ice, looking for a shot just wide of the pipe. Picked up by Sintz. Colgate on the breakout off the sideboards. Miller looking to step in and break up the play. Young back over to O'Gara. O'Gara banks it over to Agostino. Beautiful passing by the Bulldogs. Root coming in now. Backhand save. Deflection in front of the net. Miller trying to hold the zone. O'Gara tips it over to defensive partner Young. Young shoots it in on net. Unable to hold on to that big rebound. Miller coming in to pick it up. 1-on-5, looking for someone off the bench. Unsuccessful. Coming out, Rivellini skating through center ice. Throws it on Malcolm. Weird bounce as he gloves that one for a whistle.
Well, twice there you saw in a row Mahalik having trouble with the rebounds. The first one, the backhander in off the chest, popped out about 2-3 feet in front of him, up for the grabs. Colgate knocked that one away, and then a moment later, that shot just flung in from a distance. Mahalik having trouble getting a glove on that one cleanly, leaving a rebound there too. Bulldogs be wise to take note, just fire on him everywhere on the ice and see what kind of rebounds he gives.
Little scrum off the face-off as Wilson goes down. Puck over to Duick. Doing off the boards, looking for Orzetti. Barely misses him. Icing is called off. Throw him back around the boards. Cross-ice pass over to Price. Price back to Borkowski. Looking for Spink. Tipping it on net. Spink leaves it for Borkowski. Cycling pass with his brother Spink. Tyler Spink comes out to the point. Krikorin with a shot just wide. There's a delayed penalty coming up here.
Now the Bulldogs can have their first chance on the penalty kill. It's going to be a cross-check there that's going to send the Colgate Raiders to the power play. Heading off, looks like it's number 21, Colin Duick for the Bulldogs. He'll sit 2 minutes. The Raiders power play on the year. They're one of the best special teams in the ECAC this year. 22.1%, good for 8th nationally, up there in ECAC play as well.
Out on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs, Ruffalo and Root, joined by O'Gara and Young at the bottom of the box. Thrown down ice by Young as the Bulldogs get their first reprieve on this penalty kill.
Well, that's a big kill here. Now that we've played about 10 minutes, the game's settled in a little bit. Yale's look good so far, but they don't want to let Colgate jump right back into this one.
Shot just wide of Malcolm's outstretched hand. Colgate unable to hold the zone as it bounces out over to Larkin. Bulldogs get a switch, setting up Balch and Wilson. Two players we commonly see on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs off the glass. Young, Larkin holding the zone, comes in on net, shot saved by Malcolm's face mask. Clear for the Bulldogs, a minute 15 left to kill. Picked up behind the net by Price. And through his own zone over to Spink. Spink over the blue line, stops short. Looking to set up the power play, a minute left on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs. Spink up to Price. Price back to Spink. Back to his brother, in front of the net, backdoor shot, just wide of the pipe.
Oh, they had that one there.
Spink looking for the backdoor pass, catching the Bulldogs unaware, comes back out to Price. Price to Spink. Spink cross ice over to Borkowski, in front of the net. Bulldogs trying to clear it out. 36 seconds left to kill. Spink back over to Bond, in front of the net, backdoor. Lagunier picking up the pieces on that play, held in the zone by Price. Lagunier again, barely shooting it out of the zone. 20 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs. Bulch with the turnover, looking for a shot, and hits the pipe in the corner. What a shot.
What a bomb from Bulch there. He just picks it up, crossed the blue line, and fired it in on Mahalik. Almost beat him. He did beat him, rather. Just missed the net there.
Bulldogs are now even strength with the Raiders as both teams are now 0 for 1. 0 for 1 for Colgate as Yale scored their first goal on the power play. Coming out from net since. Pressure from Miller, throws it in deep. Looking to get a fake out Rivellini in the corner, hard hit on Young. There's a delayed penalty coming up here, I believe, on the Raiders.
Yeah, there's some fighting there going on in the corner. Young got decked pretty hard into the boards. It's going to be Gensler. It's like he's going to be heading off. Sophomore Daniel Gensler from Manhattan Beach, California, playing in his 36th career game as a member of the Raiders. He's going to sit here. And the Bulldogs, 1 for 1 on the power play already. That strike from Miller was the one goal we've seen so far. Going to get another chance. 2 minutes with the man advantage.
There's a little discussion going on between the officials and the team captains. Head coach Keith Elaine will send out Ruffalo, Cooper, and Lagunier.
Yeah, I see there Gensler getting that shoulder, maybe the elbow. Tough to tell from there. Up high in on Young. That's what's going to earn him the 2-minute trip to the box.
Face-off won by the Raiders. Back to Law. Rings it around the boards. Obukowski looking to pinch. Picked up by Lagunier. Lagunier to Young. Young looking for Cooper. Backdoor bounces off of Larkin's stick. Back out to Obukowski. Obukowski to Young. Back to Obukowski, the top of the zone, leaving it for Lagunier. Lagunier shoots it down to Cooper, picked up instead by Ruffalo. Ruffalo goes down. Price with the clear for the Raiders. A minute 28 left on the power play for the Bulldogs as Root, Agostino, and Miller now take the ice. Obakowski to Miller. Miller looking for the cross-ice pass, batted down by Wilson as Root goes down, shot back deep into the zone. Bulldogs wary of that offsides call. A minute and 10 seconds left on the power play. Fallon up to Miller. Miller looking to shoot it in, stopped by Sins. Turnover to Bond. Back to Sins. Looking to waste some time. Sins back to Price. Shot back to Bond. Right inside the blue line, looking for a shot on Malcolm. 48 seconds left on the power play. Wilson has now taken the ice along with Cooper. Fallon skating out from behind Malcolm. Decides to take things in his own hands. Shoots it in deep. Cooper behind the net. Shot back out to the point. Miller. Miller to Fallon. Fallon back to Miller. Looking to set up a play. Agostino back to Fallon. Fakes the shot to Miller. One-timer off a skate. Cooper up to the point. Miller. Miller back to Cooper. Miller to Fallon. Fakes the slap shot. Looking for a one-timer. Agostino shot on the ice. Picked up by Wilson off the deflection. Another shot by Wilson. Cooper, 7 seconds left. Fallon with a shot looking to tip off of Agostino's stick. Glove down by Miller, looking for one last chance. Back to Agostino, even strength now. Agostino through the crease, looking for Cooper on the back door. Shot down the ice by Sins. And there's the icing call.
And Colgate's not going to get a chance to change there. That's a tough break for them, icing that puck with their penalty killer unit still out there on the ice. Well, on that power play, you saw Andrew Miller really setting up in that same spot where he scored the goal. Just looking for those one-timers again. Another good rip on it. That one's saved, but seems to be something he's looking for on the power play. Maybe something the Bulldogs have worked on in practice over the past week, trying to get a more established look to their man advantage unit.
Bourbonnais, Balch, and Lagunier out on the ice. Glove down by Lagunier at the top of the circle as he loses possession. Picked up now by the Raiders. 5 minutes left to go here in the first period of play at Ingalls. Back into the Bulldogs end for Malcolm to pick up. Raiders getting a change. Their line over to Balch right off the bench. Back down to the Raiders end. Corcoran sitting behind his own net, looking for his players to move, finds Spink. Picked off by Cooper. Cooper back to Ruffalo, looking for a shot blocked as he struggles to get something on the back of that. Wittick, backhanded on the glass, finds Ruffalo. Ruffalo in the corner leaves it for Weber. Weber coming around, looking for something. Weber goes down to be picked up by Cooper. Cooper back to Ruffalo. Backhanded out as it hits Colgate's stick. Deep into the zone. Corcoran back over to Spink. Spink flips it through the air. He picked up by Fallon. Fallon back over to Root. Off the boards for Miller. Miller coming in on Mihalik as there's a save.
Yeah, I think Miller there was looking to trying to find Agostino in front of the cage, and the Colgate defenders just gave him space there to carry that puck in. Both of them seemed like they were playing for the pass there out front to Kenny Agostino. And Miller said, okay, I don't mind if I do, and tries to take it all the way in on the net himself. As you see Agostino there getting in with it with Colgate defenseman Ryan Johnston in front of the net.
Wilson on the face-off. Won by the Raiders, looking to skate through that one. Fallon there to hold the zone. Wilson cross-ice pass picked up by Fallon off the boards. Fallon to Obakowski. Obakowski off the boards looking for Lagunier. Picked up instead by Law. Lagunier coming around the back of net finds Orzetti in front as you can hear the disappointment from the fans. Close call for Orzetti. Lagunier in the corner working with the puck. Loses it off the back of the net. Trying to pick it up again. It's shot back over to Law. Law deep into the corner. About 3 minutes left to play in the first period. Yale up 1-0. You are watching Yale All Access. Puck back in the corner over to Bourdon. Orzetti trying to get out of the zone, unsuccessful. Fallon back up off the glass. Intercepted by Corcoran.
That one's going to be blown dead there at the blue line. 13-4 unofficially, the shots advantage in favor of the Bulldogs. Looking around the league, only 2 other ECAC contests with goals so far. Cornell leads Brown 2-0 in Providence. Union 2-0 over St. Lawrence. Everything else scoreless. So you see there, Lagunier finding Orzetti almost out in front of Mihalik's net.
Back into the corner, chased down by Gensler. O'Gara and Root on defense for the Bulldogs, fighting for possession in their own corner. Miller edging out of the zone, looking for the pass. Agostino off the glass to Miller. 2-on-2. Miller and Root coming in now. Miller leaves it for Root. Root coming around, shot off of the skate of Revellini, excuse me, sorry. Back behind the net, shot out to O'Gara. O'Gara shot and saved by Mihalik.
Yeah, nice little pass there from Agostino. He tried to find Miller and Root in the 2-on-1 breakout a moment before, whiffed on it, bounces up in the air, and he just whacks it out of midair, baseball style, off the boards, all the way down to Miller, entering the offensive zone. Neat little look there.
Saw a little fighting going on yet again. Kenny Agostino is not having this Colgate team. Carson Cooper on the draw for the Bulldogs. One back to Weberg. Weberg to Dewick. Dewick with a shot saved by Mihalik as it's a shove in front of the net. Shot back around by Sins. Sins looking for Bond. Held in by Dewick. Dewick to Cooper. Tips it over to Weberg. Unable to get there in time. Weberg coming around back over to Dewick. Dewick looking for a cross-ice pass through the slot. Blocked by Colgate. Weberg now back to Balch. Comes over to Wilson. Whittick stepping down from the blue line as Colgate now comes out on offense. Wilson over the red line. Gains entry into the zone. Bourdon shot and save by Malcolm.
Well, Jeff hangs on to that one there. 1:37 remaining here in the first period of play. It's save number 5 on the night for Jeff Malcolm, senior goaltender from Lethbridge, Alberta. Jeff's playing in his 21st game this year as a member of the Eli's. Got 12 wins on the season, .915 save percentage, .251 goals against coming in tonight's game.
Draw one by the Bulldogs. Slides through over to Malcolm. Another whistle here in the Yale's end. Bourbonnais now on the draw for the Bulldogs. One by Colgate. I think it hit a player before it hit the ice.
Yeah, that faceoff's going to be blown dead there, redone. The officials just trying to get this right here. Tyler Spink versus Clinton Bourbonnais on the draw again.
One back to Law off the faceoff. Shot and save by Malcolm. 3 quick shots here in a row.
And we'll do it again. But Clinton Bourbonnais in his line heading off the ice now, so it's going to be a different centerman there out there for the Bulldogs against Tyler Spink.
Wilson wins the draw back to O'Gara. Rings it around the boards, looking for Orzetti. Slides past him. Back to Colgate's defense. Law with the puck. Flips it in cross ice for Young to pick up. Young off the glass, held in the zone by Larkin. Orzetti unable to push that one aside.
I believe the official is going to blow that one dead offside there. That one didn't leave the zone from what I could see, but the officials found some reason to blow that play dead. Tonight's referees are Bob Ritchie and Tom Steinel Jr., and the linesmen are Ryan Knapp and Bill Britton. As you see there, Gus Young and Borkowski still kind of jawing at each other. Everyone trying to figure out what's going on here, why that play was blown dead. As you see, the officials now carrying the puck all the way down
believe it was a hand
to
pass,
Colgate
Max.
zone, which looks exactly as I was about to say. It looks like a hand pass there was the reason for that one being blown dead. Hand pass in the offensive zone is going to bring it all the way back down to the right of Eric Mahalik.
Won by the Raiders, back to Law. Law looking for Wilson on the breakout. Picked up by O'Gara. O'Gara to Young. Young off the boards to Agostino. Agostino enters the zone. Gonna leave it for Wilson. Backhand picked up by Law. Less than a minute to play as Bourdon comes to the zone over to Wilson. Wilson leaving it for Law. Poked away by O'Gara. Back behind Malcolm. Wilson throwing it in front. Does not find his own player. Bond in the corner. Pressure from Miller and O'Gara. Comes out to Bourdon. Bourdon, nice move. Back to the point to Larkin. Larkin fakes it over to Price. Shot and saved by Malcolm. Thrown in front as Malcolm loses his helmet. There is a fight starting in the crease.
Yeah, that'll certainly get something started there. Bumping around in the crease, knocked off Jeff Malcolm's lid there. He was quick to put his glove up. As we can slow this down before you see what happened here. It looked like, yeah, a combination of Gus Young and the Colgate forward, Joe Wilson there. He was on, knocked over Jeff Selman. He was quick to put his arm up, get the whistle there from the officials, but of course the teams are going to jostle with each other there. The Bulldog defensemen trying to protect their senior netminder.
That seriously has to be one of the scariest things, Max, to lose your helmet, especially for a goalie.
Well, and when you add in the fact that everybody's pushing around for the puck, sticks are flying in the crease like that, you got good 4 or 5 guys there, just as many sticks and twice as many skates. Things can get dicey real quick.
30 seconds left to go in the first period here at Ingles. Root wins it back to Fallon. Fallon off the boards. Looking for Balch as he comes in now. McHollick, backhand, pushed away in front into the crease. Pushed away by Colgate's defenseman. Back up the boards over to Spink. 16 seconds left as he crosses the blue line. Looking for Borkowski. Up to Weberg on the boards, looking to waste a little time as he pushes into the zone past Sins, and that will wind down the clock in the first period. We will come back to you shortly. I'll be interviewing Tommy Fallon's father for our first intermission interview.
Absolutely good period there for the Bulldogs. 17 shots on net. Anytime you can push close to 20 shots in one period, things have gone well. Solid so far for the Elis, but Colgate absolutely hanging around. It's going to be a fight to the end here. Just a 1-0 lead for the Bulldogs, courtesy of Andrew Miller there. He put that shot past Mahalik, a one-timer on the power play off a nice cross-ice feed from Kenny Agostino. Let's take a look at that goal that gave the Bulldogs the lead. Agostino found Miller, bangs it home. It's 1-0 Bulldogs, and we'll be right back.
This is Antoine Lagagnère, number 28. You're watching Yale Men's Hockey on Yale All Access.
Hello and welcome back up into the booth. This is Adlon Adams. I'm currently here with Bob Fallon, a parent of one of our mini Yale players, Tommy Fallon, number 22 on defense. Also a fellow Minnesotan out of...
That's correct.
Is it Plymouth?
Plymouth, Minnesota.
Plymouth, Minnesota. I'm from Wayzata, so we're pretty close neighbors there. Currently working in the hockey world. What exactly do you do?
I've been in the hockey marketing side of things for over 20 years. I used to publish USA Hockey Magazine. Now I am in the manufacturing end of things, marketing and manufacturing. So work for a company that does not currently partner with Yale, but maybe someday.
Someday. Of course, being in Minnesota makes sense that you'd work in the hockey industry somehow. Did you ever play in your youth?
I played in my youth, not quite at the level of some of these boys. I didn't really get started in organized hockey until I was about 16 or 17. And as you know, being from Minnesota, if you don't start when you're 5, you're way behind.
Right, so. just a little bit, just a little bit behind. Looking at the Bulldogs tonight, what do you think that they are doing well?
I think, first things first, I mean, they came out with energy. And you got to come out every single game with energy. It's senior weekend. I think, guys like Balchi and Andrew Miller, they just came out just ready to go. And that just energizes the whole squad. I think they're just playing with a lot of energy.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of energy from the seniors, especially Miller's one-timer. Pretty unbelievable.
Absolutely. Love it. I mean, that guy's got unbelievable hands.
Yes, he does.
Can we give him a 5th-year senior deal?
I know.
Right.
we can only wish. And then looking at the playoff prospects for this Yale team, we are now number 4 in the ECAC.
That's correct.
What are your thoughts?
I try not to get too wrapped up in the whole pairwise and the whole rankings thing. The bottom line is you got to play well at the end of the year. And we've had a couple of, missteps the last couple of weeks. I think it's never too late to get your game together. I just want to see not only Yale, I want to see the ECAC represent themselves well in the playoffs. As you know, in Minnesota, everybody thinks things revolve around the WCHA. I would love to see the ECAC represent themselves well, and obviously our Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, not to downplay Minnesota and the U. Also, we've all been wondering, as I said to you earlier, we love watching Tommy skate. We really want to know where he learned how to skate that way.
I can tell you it wasn't me. We actually, you get started kind of early, and I was very fortunate when Tommy was a small boy to hook up with some guys that really emphasize skill development over games. And we got hooked into some groups that were all about skill development, edge work, and things like that. Tommy loved to learn how to skate and emphasize skating, and that's really, in my opinion, the strength of his game and always has been.
And those hands, we just saw that move right by Malcolm. You're shaking your head.
I'm shaking my head and I'm a former coach. You don't make that play in front of your net, but I can't say anything. He's my boy. But I'd rather see that go off the glass. But, hey, what do I know? I'm like a B-League 50 and over guy. I mean.
Well, watching Tommy grow up, play this game, I'm sure you have lots of family and friends out there watching. You want to give anyone a shout-out?
Absolutely. I mean, Yale All Access keeps us in touch. I've got my mother-in-law, Sandy, down in St. Louis. We got Aunt Anita in San Clemente, California. Watches every game. She's Tommy's biggest fan. Aunt Michelle in Phoenix. I mean, we got people all over the country that tune in every night for every game.
Well, we're really happy to have you guys watching. It means a lot. We work really hard up here in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Fallon.
We appreciate you having us, and I'll tell you what, just keep up the great work. We love watching you guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And now we will look at the stats from the first period on your screen. Shots pretty uneven, heavily favored within the Bulldogs, 17-7. Colgate having to make some big saves, 16 so far as the Bulldogs scored on the power play. Andrew Miller with the one-timer. Yale now 1 for 2 on the power play. I will now welcome Max back up into the booth.
Well, Adlon, 3 minutes left here now in our first intermission. Teams soon to be rejoining us on the ice in another minute or two. A pretty strong period on the whole for the Eli's. Coming back here to Ingalls, they've been playing on the road quite a bit lately. 3 straight weekends on the road, and I think it's no secret that the team struggled a bit over the course of the past month. So to come out here in front of the home crowd and really, put 17 shots on net, put a good number of chances toward Mihalik's direction, some blocked, that Balch just absolute bomb off the pipe, really get the crowd into the game, get things moving. it can only mean good things for this team as the game goes forward. But, on the flip side, you have to keep in mind, it's only a 1-goal lead. This is a good Colgate team that scored 4 goals on the Bulldogs up north just over a month ago. So they're not going to go anywhere, and this Yale team needs to be aware of that. And, I have no doubt whatsoever that Keith Elaine is making sure they know to stay focused on their game.
As Mr. Fallon and I were talking about, the seniors have really stepped up the energy level tonight, Max. So you're talking about that shot from Balch, just off the pipe. Great shot. We also have Andrew Miller's goal. The seniors have really brought the intensity here to Ingalls tonight.
Well, yeah, you want to look at, and you really want to look for a guy like Lagunier to step it up, too, over this final weekend. He's a guy that we talked about a lot early this year. He started with 6 goals in his first 5 and then followed it up, and came up with 8 goals in his first 9 games on the season. But since then, he's only put in 4 goals in the most recent 16. So he's a guy who, you look to him for production, a senior, a guy big-bodied, 6'4", a guy who might be on the radar screen of many different NHL clubs in about a month's time when the college hockey season comes to an end. You really look to him to step up and lead this squad.
Yes, and as we are being told from the other side of our tech crew that the women's volleyball team was just honored for being the Ivy champs, and we also have, as you see on the screen, the women's volleyball team. And we also have another Ivy League champion team here tonight, Max.
Well, of course, this Yale Bulldogs team, by virtue of beating Princeton, as they come onto the ice now, by virtue of beating Princeton last weekend with that 4-3 win, they sealed for themselves an Ivy League title this year. So for this senior class, this will be their 3rd Ivy League title. The Bulldogs Ivy champs in 2009, 2010, 2011, and now 2013. So the senior class got to experience Ivy League titles in 2010, 2011, and 2013. Harvard, of course, picked up the Ivy League title last year, but the Bulldogs now stolen it back from their ancient rivals up north.
And out on the ice for the Bulldogs, Miller, Root, and Agostino, joined by Obakowski and Fallon. So we just had Mr. Fallon up in the box. Colgate will send out Larkin and Wilson, along with Bourdon, Lau. I believe I've been pronouncing that wrong all night. I'm so sorry. Bourdon up against Root on the power, on the initial face-off here, beginning the second period here at Ingalls. Miller in the corner, puck comes out to the slot. Whacked down by Root, shot and save by McHale. Colgate trying to break it out, intercepted by Root. Fallon back to Miller. Miller goes down into the boards off of a hit from Lau. Back behind the net, Larkin skating it up through the circles. Agostino picks it off his stick. Larkin struggles to gain back possession. Miller now with the puck over to Root, whiffs on the shot, unable to get that through Colgate's defense. Back off the boards, into the zone. Fallon intercepts it. Picked up by Obakowski over the red line, dumped it in the zone. Bulldogs trying to get a change on defense. Orzetti on the forecheck in the corner with Lagunier. Wilson coming in from the blue line. Lagunier over to Young. Young shoots it in, looking for Wilson on the back door. Wilson to Lagunier. Lagunier back over to Orzetti. Orzetti tries to cycle it back, broken up by the Raiders. Neutral ice passing by Colgate as Bratliff turns around, throwing it down to the zone. Young over to O'Gara. O'Gara gets it in deep for the Bulldogs so they get a change on offense. Picked up behind the net by Bartliff over to Price. Price looking for a pass off the boards as it goes down deep for O'Gara to shoot back over to Balch. Cooper going up against Murphy in the corner, flicking it out to Balch. Colgate holds the zone on the blue line, throwing it in deep. Murphy and O'Gara in the corner. O'Gara's not know where the puck is, comes through looking for a backhanded shot just wide of Malcolm's outstretched glove. Bulge back behind the net, picked up over on the far side by Sins. Sins throws it over to Johnston. Johnston to Spink, back to his brother, Tyler Spink, looking for a cycling play. I believe that will be a delayed penalty on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Carson Cooper. They're heading off for a hold. He got in with it with Tyson Spink on the right behind Jeff Malcolm's cage. Got him up high a little bit. Didn't release, and that's going to send him to the box for 2 minutes here. Colgate getting their second chance now on the power play. 0 for 1 in the first. So we can show you here, Cooper just hanging on to Spink there and really getting him up high a little bit. Or not releasing there. Earns him the 2-minute trip to the penalty box.
Bukowski goes down behind his own net, trying to clear it out for the Bulldogs on the penalty kill, joined by Bourbonnais, Ruffalo, and Dewick. Spink behind the net, leaving it for Bond. Picked up instead by Bukowski up off the glass, holding the zone for the Raiders. Bukowski throwing it back in deep, goes into the corner, past Spink over to his brother. Dewick slaps it out of the zone, giving the Bulldogs a bit of a break. A minute 30 left on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs. Balch and Wilson now out on the ice, joined by O'Gara and Young. Cross ice pass over to Spink, off the boards, deep in the zone for Malcolm. O'Gara looking to ring it around the boards. Play is broken up by Bond as Spink handles the puck in the corner. Out to his brother, over to Bourdon. Bourdon to Borkowski. Borkowski back to Bourdon at the top of the zone. Fakes the shot to Spink. Spink back to his brother. Misses that pass. Bond looking to pick it out, unsuccessful. Shot out to the top of the zone. Shot and save by Malcolm. Coming off the glass, Wilson and Balch. Wilson tries to get around Bourdon, but is unsuccessful. 43 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Wilson almost turned that into a 2-on-1 there.
Bartliff coming in on offense. Shot from the point by Price. Didn't get enough on that one. Sticked down by Bourdon. Goes into the corner for Spink. Back over to Price. Cross ice. Back to Price on the point. Price looking for Borkowski. Shot and wide of the net. Price in the corner. Pushes it forward. Shot out by Root. Hits Colgate instead over the blue line. Legit looking for a pass. Cycles back over to Bartliff as the penalty winds down. One last shot over to Lau. Young with the puck as the Bulldogs are now even strength up to Agostino. Agostino getting around Lau, joined by Root and Miller. Agostino with the puck in front, looking for a Root deflection. Saved by Mihalik. Miller again with possession. Flips it over to Agostino. Weird bounce into the boards as Agostino fights for possession with Lau. Agostino coming around, looking to get in front of the net. Pushed away by Price as he goes down. Colgate on the breakout. Price coming out from defense. Shoots into the zone around Bukowski. Fallon and Price. Fallon pushes him off the puck. Over to Bukowski. Misses the pass to Miller. Picked up instead by Gensler. Revellini coming in. Shot and saved by Malcolm. Unsure of where the puck is.
Yeah, there was some daylight there. You could see in between Jeff's pads there. A little worrisome as that puck got trapped there. Fortunately for the Bulldogs, didn't make it anywhere near all the way through. But Jeff had to go hunting for that one. Want to have no doubt there where that puck is, especially with the Colgate forwards closing in, hunting for rebounds.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs. They are both sent out. McCann and Wilson sent out. Center ice. Orzetti now wins it back. Yale up 1-0 here in the second period. Wilson coming through center ice, looking for Lagunier on the forecheck. Lagunier hard hit on Sins. Lagunier gets caught up in the faceoff circle. Colgate now with possession as Johnston comes out. Orzetti goes down. Sins back over to Johnston. Johnston working with the puck back up to McCann. Coming in, Gensler looking to get around Wittick into the corner. backhanded to Malcolm as he gloves that one.
Yeah, as we see a moment ago, it was Lau again losing his stick there for the Colgate Raiders twice now. Colgate players just losing their sticks, having to fend for themselves. This big contributor to what led to that first goal for the Bulldogs. We'll take here a look on our replay of Lau here having to play some defense. On the far side, he gets tangled up with Agostino, loses his stick. And that's the fight there. Play some D without a stick.
Tied up off the draw route. Puck up off the glass. Picked up now by Corcoran. Back behind the net, Larkin leaving it for his defensive partner into the front of the slot. Bourbonnais shot into the netting, well over the head of Mihalik.
Clinton Bourbonnais had a great rip on that one there, just like a deflection up over top, but he had time. Bouncing puck, had to settle it down, did that, and he got a good whack on it, but just getting knocked up high, so that faceoff's going to stay here inside Colgate zone to Mihalik's right.
Little quick on the draw there as Ruffalo comes into the faceoff circle. Bourbonnais taking it at center as he is now sent out in favor of Ruffalo. One by Colgate, back to Lau. Lau coming out skating from behind his own net, shoots it over to Bond off of his skate, unable to control that one. Back over to Young. Young to Day. Hard hit. Day is not paying attention at center ice as it is now picked up by Bond. Up to Price. Hard pressure from Bourbonnais as Bourbonnais is able to gain possession, looking for Young. Instead, Bourdon gains control over to Wilson. Picked up again by Bond, coming around, flips it back into the zone for his line mate to pick up. O'Gara fighting to get it in the corner with Bourbonnais. Back up off the boards, comes out to Balch. Balch, Bourbonnais, and Weber coming in. Balch with the puck, looking for Bourbonnais, backdoor score for the Bulldogs!
Well, that's just a nifty little pass there. Balch just threw it across, skidded it there along the ice right onto the tape of Clinton Bourbonnais, and he just knocks it home past Mihalik. For Clint, that's number 3 on the season, 14 in his Yale career. As you see, Balch bouncing it over the Colgate defenseman right to Bourbonnais' tape. Outstretched Nathan Sins couldn't do anything there, and Mihalik, too much space to cover, moving left to right, couldn't get there either. 2-0 Eli's.
What a great goal for the Bulldogs. Get some more energy back in Ingles, maybe wake Colgate up a little. Great play by those two. Colgate with the breakout. Back to Obakowski, looking to get it off the glass. Instead hits the official. Picked up by Lidgett. Back behind Malcolm, who leaves it for Fallon. Fallon off the boards to Agostino, looking to tip it into the zone. Murphy over to Bartliff. Shot off the glass behind Malcolm, trying to hold the zone. Johnston coming down off the blue line. Obakowski takes it right off his stick. Obakowski turning away from pressure, up off the boards to Miller. Miller looking to flip it up to Agostino, entering the zone. Instead, play broken up by Lau. Coming out of his own end, looking for Murphy off the boards. Wilson breaks up that play. Wilson coming off the boards takes a hit as it's shot back deep by Larkin. 2-0 here in the second period at Ingles as the Yale men's hockey team takes on the Colgate Raiders. Fallon coming through neutral ice over to Orzetti. Orzetti gets a hard hit, finds Lagunier in front of the net as he takes out his player right into the pipe.
Yeah, two getting into each other there, as you see now. Orzetti doing a little pushing and shoving there with Rivellini. As a moment ago, look back on that goal, a feed from Balch right there to Bourbonnais. Bring some life back into this crowd. That goal was only the 3rd shot of the period. You see the Yale bench watching the play develop and then the celebration. That goal there, only the 3rd shot of the period for the Eli's after putting up 17 in the first period. Perhaps it'll waken them up a little bit here as this period goes along.
Great 2-on-1 play by the Bulldogs, forcing the defenseman to come out take the puck as it goes back over to Dewick. Dewick with a shot deflected by Cooper right into Mihalik.
Yeah, taking a quick look now around the league. Dartmouth and Princeton, they got a 1-1 tie there in Hanover heading into the second period. Union's opened up the lead against St. Lawrence. You kind of want St. Lawrence to win that one if you're a Yale fan, but it's 3-0 Union. RPI leading Clarkson 3-0. Now that's a good score for the Yale fans out there. Cornell coming here tomorrow night. They're up 2-0 on Brown. And Quinnipiac and Harvard in the irrelevant game in the standings tonight. No score.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs as Bourdon is sent out of the circle. Won by the Raiders, back to Price. Price skating it out, finds Bond back over to Bourdon. Looking back toward Wilson, wide open. Skitters over his stick as it's picked up now by Stu Wilson for the Bulldogs. Off the boards over to Lagunier. Lagunier deep into the zone for Orzetti to chase down. Lagunier throws it up to O'Gara off the bench, looking for a shot blocked. And now we have a 2-on-1. Yale back checking hard. Wilson looking for Bond on the 2-on-1. Wilson with a shot saved by Malcolm. Looks like it almost hit the pipe there. Bourdon with another shot back out to the point. Little fake out there from the blue line. Wilson over to Orzetti. Price holding the blue line. Wilson misses the puck. It comes back out now to Corcoran.
Yeah, Lagunier need a line change. There's not too much gas left to try and push that one into the offensive zone after dumping that in. He made a quick trip to the bench.
Colgate on the breakout, cross ice over to Spink. Deep into the zone for the Bulldogs. Dewick whips on the pass. Bourbonnais there to pick it up. Bourbonnais looking for Day. Day over to Ruffalo. Ruffalo looking to tip it to Day. Broken up by the Spink brothers. Into the zone, hard hit by Spink and Bourbonnais right on the blue line. Puck coming around behind Malcolm. Borkowski leaving it for Spink in the corner. Coming out around the top of the circle, Tyson Spink with a shot saved by Malcolm right on the stick of Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais off the boards. Another hard hit by Spink as Spink takes the front of his own hit. Dewick now with the puck. Back over to Wittick. Wittick to Bourbonnais. On the breakout, Bourbonnais to Dewick. Over the blue line. Less than 10 minutes left to play in the second period. Puck out to Balch right off of the bench. Backhand off of Day's skate. Murphy now with the puck pushed off by Cooper. Fallon cross ice over to Weberg off the bench, who will just toss it in the zone for the Bulldogs. Balch on the forecheck, joined by Weberg. Cooper trying to break up the breakout. Obakowski will shoot it back in. Getting a little chippy here. As Colgate looks to break it out, Obakowski trying to flip back and hits Colgate player instead for Fallon to chase down into his own end and a regroup. Fallon now skating down the ice back over to Weberg. Weberg over the blue line. Hard hit on Weberg as the puck goes over to Fallon. Fallon to Obakowski on the blue line, barely holding the blue line. Into the corner over to Agostino. Agostino off the sideboards over to Young right off the bench. Young looking for a shot, gloved by Mihalik.
It's another time there. He just couldn't get the glove completely on it. Leaves it out in front of him.
Young up to Agostino over to Root. Root, Agostino, and Miller now on the ice for the Bulldogs. Agostino to Miller, back to Agostino. Misses the wide open net. Back down the ice they come. Rivellini hits it off his own player, and that will be an offsides call.
Yeah, I don't think Ago and Root expected Miller to give that one back there. I think they both thought Miller was going to rip on net, but Andrew Miller, very patient there, smart play to throw that one back up front. As you see some of these hits tonight from Lau from the Raiders. There he lays out. It's Jesse Root. That was earlier in tonight's game, and then just a moment ago, a big open ice hit there from Lau, and we'll take a look. A moment ago, he just stands up. Weberg on the near boards.
Shot back deep in the zone by Corcoran. Left for Dewick. Dewick over to Wittick to Lagunier. Misses the stick of Orzetti by inches as Price picks up the pass. Dewick over to Lagunier. Shot back into the zone on to Malcolm. Wittick behind the net looking for space and time. Skates it out over to Dewick. Dewick looking for Wilson on the boards. McCann is there to stop the puck. Wittick in the corner with possession in his own end. Back over to defensive partner Dewick to Lagunier off the boards. Lagunier off the glass looking for Orzetti. Orzetti looking to get around Johnston as he goes down. Wilson and Lagunier joining in the fun on the sideboards. Wittick throws it back in for the Bulldogs. Day, Bourbonnais, and Ruffalo now out on the ice. Ruffalo back in the corner for Bourbonnais, picked up by Sintz. Cross-ice breakout pass by Johnston, misses Wilson. O'Gara chasing it down for the Bulldogs. Shot in front of the net. Day not allowing that pass to make it through. Off the boards to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais to Day. Waiting for the puck up against Larkin. Now Day looking to get a move around Larkin. Almost gets there as Larkin now picks it up in the corner. Coming out with possession back over to Bond. Bond cross-ice pass, shot and save by Malcolm. Young in the corner over to Weberg. Weberg's pass off a skate as it's picked up by Corcoran. Corcoran over to Bourdon. Cross-ice pass to Spink, misses his stick. Obakowski backhands it out of the zone. Price looking for the breakout, finds Spink in the Bulldogs end. Obakowski hit in order to get that puck. Obakowski to Fallon in front of the net over to Balch. Balch flips it into the corner for Cooper. Cooper up against Corcoran on the sideboards. Squirts out to Balch in the corner. Cooper joins in. Balch now coming out. Shot and just wide of the net. Dewick now with possession. Up to Balch. Balch, Cooper, and Weberg on offense for the Bulldogs. Weberg leaves it for Balch. Balch with a shot off a skate in front of the net. Balch looking to get the puck. Comes back over to Cooper. Cooper hit from Price as Cooper slides it over to Weberg behind the net. Little confusion in front of the net as Colgate's defensemen do not know what to do with the puck. Coming back out and around Murphy up to Spink. Stopped by Dewick. Yale on the turnover over to Agostino. Agostino to Miller. Back to Agostino. Shot away by Colgate. Shot by O'Gara off of Miller. Comes back over to Agostino. Root looking for Miller. Bounces over to him in the corner. Root leaves it for Miller. Miller with possession. Miller coming out from behind the corner. Looking to leave it for his defenseman. Intercepted by Lidgett. Coming over the blue line, Lidgett looking for a shot off the skate of Young. Less than 5 minutes left to go in the second period. Bulldogs are up 2-0 as Miller looks for Root. That'll be icing called off. Picked up now by Bartlett in his own end. Day on the forecheck, joined by Bourbonnais and Ruffalo. Bourbonnais looking to stop the play, unsuccessful as it comes out center ice for Fallon. Fallon to Obakowski. Obakowski to Day. Looking for Bourbonnais right by his own bench. Intercepted by Johnson. Johnson up to Gensler. Shot back into the zone for Fallon. Larkin on the point over to defensive partner Lau. Shot in deep. Rivellini on the forecheck in front of the net, wide open.
That's a great save. That's a great save by Jeff Malcolm there.
McCann left all alone. Malcolm fend for himself as Ruffalo shoots it back down the ice. Lau will pick it up.
That puck took a funky bounce there on the edge, got out in front of Jeff Malcolm's net all alone. Jeff did a good job to get that glove up real quick.
Shot and save by Malcolm off the stick of Larkin. Orzetti in the corner with possession. Decides to skate it up with the space he is given by Colgate off the boards. Picked up by Sintz. Over to Price. Back over to Bourdon. Shot and save by Malcolm. Big rebound. Goes just wide of the net. Back out to the point. Unable to hold the zone. Orzetti with the interception slides it into the zone. Price with possession. Weberg, Balch, and Cooper out for the Bulldogs. Price leaves it for Spink. Circling around, waiting for the right opportunity. Bulldogs are not pressuring at all right now in the offensive zone as the puck comes over to Price. Price shoots it cross ice, looking for a shot up into the netting.
And we finally get a whistle here at Ingles. Quite some time there. Good 5-6 minutes there. Play just kept moving back and forth. 23-16 unofficially on the shots now. Colgate's edged a little closer this period. That was 17-7 there after one. 9-7 advantage to the Raiders, or 9-6 to the Raiders this period. As you see there, that puck coming right out in front onto the tape of McCann, but Jeff Malcolm, the answer there for the Bulldogs. 16 saves on the day for the senior goaltender.
Off the faceoff, Miller coming in over to Agostino. Stick down by Johnston. Miller picking it up again. Possession over to Agostino. Shot into the corner. Young with a big wind-up on that one. Back to O'Gara on the point. O'Gara with a shot off the stick of Johnston. Over to Root. Root in the corner with hard pressure from Johnston. Less than 2 minutes left to play here in the second period. Unable to hold the blue line. There's a delayed penalty coming up as Borkowski enters the zone looking for that backdoor. Be a penalty on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, as the Raiders broke that one out there, they were looking to break out in a 2-on-1, but it was Gus Young, I believe, who got the stick up there, did a little bit of hooking to prevent that from being a clean 2-on-1 opportunity for the Raiders. So he'll sit 2 minutes in exchange there. 1:40 left here in the second period of play from Ingles. So the Raiders can have the bulk of the remainder of this period on the power play, and it will spill 20 seconds over to the third if they don't convert. 0 for 2 on the day.
Wilson wins it back to Fallon on the penalty kill. Yale able to get it out of the zone. Yale will start the period down a man for 20 seconds in the third as Larkin now enters the zone for Colgate. Shot and save by Malcolm's blocker. Fallon shoots it back into the corner. A minute 36 seconds left on the penalty kills. It goes back down onto Mahalik. Price with possession. Looking to set up the power play. A minute left to play in the period. Larkin shoots it into the corner. Obakowski trying to get out, coming out in front of the net. Price wide open. Malcolm going down to make that save that wasn't there.
And O'Gara got over real quick there. Good job.
Price on the point, back to Larkin. Captains are working together from the blue line. Price, shot deflected by Lagunier, left in front of the net. Obakowski struggling to get it out. Lagunier flips it out of the zone for the Bulldogs. 30 seconds left in the period, 51 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs. Skating out, Price over to Spink. Spink stopped on the blue line by Root, almost getting that puck away right on the blue line. Last man standing. Fallon shoots it down as there will be an offsides call. 13 seconds left to play.
Yeah, that stick handling there just forced Colgate offside. As we look back here, this is, I believe, the call that earned Gus Young that trip there. Could have been a 2-on-1, but he got his stick up there on Borkowski, hooked him a little bit. That's why he's sitting for another 34 seconds.
Got a little going at it with Balton Bond on the side there. One over to Fallon, Fallon back to Duick. Duick shoots it off the boards. So the clock winds down. Mahalik leaving it for Price. Be 20 seconds remaining on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs entering the third period.
And that'll do it for 2 here from Ingles. As you mentioned, Bulldogs going to be shorthanded to start the third, but they're up ahead on the scoreboard, 2-0. Clinton Bourbonnais padding that lead here, and Jeff Malcolm, you see there, solid all night tonight. 17 saves so far for the Eli's netminder as the Bulldogs head to the intermission with a 2-0 advantage thanks to a nice little passing play between Josh Balch and Clinton Bourbonnais. It was Balch there carrying the puck in You see him there on the far side. He picks it up just under the referee's skate, finds Bourbonnais out front. 2-0 Bulldogs, and that's where we stand heading into the third. We'll be right back.
Goaltender saves in the second period.
I'm Andrew Miller, number 17. Stay tuned for more Yale men's hockey on Yale All Access.
Welcome back inside David S. Ingalls Rink. Max Valentine here for Yale All Access, joined now by Ron Vaccaro. Welcome into the booth, Ron.
Thanks. Always good to be here. Always good to be at Ingalls.
Absolutely. Great place here on the Yale campus. Now, Ron, what do you take away from this game so far? The Bulldogs up ahead 2-0, but Colgate really hot on their tail all night.
I mean, Colgate, their coach, Vaughn, had said before the game that they're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. The word he might have used was also turmoil, not knowing which team was going to show up. And when when you're the opposing team, in Yale's case, you want to get a lead on a team like that. When you don't know what team is going to show up for the visitor side, you want to make sure your right team shows up. And I thought Yale did that by getting ahead early, and I thought that was a very good sight to see.
Well, absolutely. The Bulldogs jumped ahead early, 1-0. They're putting up 17 shots in the first period. They certainly came out flying, but things have settled down a little bit. That second period was a little more even. Colgate got a good number of opportunities there in on Malcolm. He came up big a couple of times, and the Bulldogs only putting seven shots on net that second period, following up 17 in the first. They're going to have to stay strong here in the third. 2-goal lead is in no means insurmountable.
No, some say it's the worst goal lead you could have. And, shots on goal only 24-17. The total shots attempted are 46-28 in favor of Yale. So that tells you that, Colgate did a better job that second half of that second period of clogging down some of Yale's opportunities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bulldogs struggling a little bit, getting some of those pucks all the way to Mahalik's net. But, Jeff Malcolm there, see him on the screen. He's been good tonight. He's been perfect so far. 17 saves. And we were talking here a moment ago about how much it means to this team to be playing in front of Jeff Malcolm again. Statistically, he and Nick Marisic have been pretty similar over the years. But for some reason this year, this team has really been able to put it together in front of Jeff Malcolm.
It's somewhat odd. They've both had their moments where you might not have expected them to, do too much, and they've come through for the Bulldogs. And it seems that it's Malcolm's turn now. I certainly think they've given him a boost by being back.
Absolutely. The Bulldogs, on the year, right, they've played very well in front of Jeff Malcolm. They played well in front of Nick, too. He's won key games for them over the course of his career. But this year especially, looking back, and really over the past couple of months, when Jeff was out with his knee injury, the team just did not play as well in front of him. They had that big, long losing skid. They stopped scoring goals. Obviously he doesn't affect the goal scoring, but it just seemed that things started to unravel a little bit for the squad. Now, back in front of Jeff, things seem to be working a little better for the team.
Big third period coming up. There's a great website like playoffstatus.com that gives all kinds of probabilities and statistics, and it says this game is 91% important to the odds of Yale getting where it wants to be in the NCAA tournament. So a big game and a big third period.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. You mentioned the NCAA tournament. obviously there are the ECAC implications, and we'll take a look at the out-of-town scores in a little bit just to see how everyone else is doing. But the NCAA tournament, Colgate right now is ranked in the pairwise. They're 28th. So this is technically a team under consideration for the Bulldogs.
Right.
So that certainly helps if they were to win tonight. That'll help their pairwise ranking, and of course then they'll have to keep their fingers crossed that Colgate wins out and stays ranked in the pairwise for the rest of the year.
That's the oddest thing. Yale is hoping that Cornell beats Brown tonight, and they were, and then obviously hoping to beat Cornell tomorrow.
Right. It's just the nature of the beast as we take a look now at some of those statistics through 2 periods of play at Ingalls. We welcome Adlon Adams back into the booth. Bulldogs 24-17 on shots. Ron and I talking about that. On the face-off dot, even so far, both teams getting several power play opportunities. Bulldogs 1 for 2 with the man advantage. Colgate 0 for 3 on the day. One thing of note is that these two teams rank among the most penalized teams in the nation. Colgate's averaging 14.4 minutes of penalty time per game, hanging in there at 11th in the nation. The Bulldogs 13.9 minutes in the sin bin per game, 12th nationally. So lots of penalty minutes for these two teams, averaging, I guess, around 28 combined on average. Only 10 tonight so far. Interesting to see if that changes. The officials have let the boys play tonight from what can be seen. A lot of big hits along the boards, entering the zones, whatnot.
And not only are we seeing those big hits along the boards, Max, but got some fights going on in front of Malcolm, in front of Mihalik. Off the draw, thrown in on Malcolm. Shot back out by Duick as there's still 12 seconds left on the penalty kill. Picked up by Duick in the corner. And is stopped in his tracks by Bartliff as the Bulldogs now go even strength with Colgate. Ball now entering the zone along with Fallon, looking for a shot pushed away by Mihalik. Another shot and just off the side netting. Back around behind the corner. Chased down by Lau, finds O'Gara at center ice. O'Gara looking for Miller, picked off by Bartlett. Miller now with the puck yet again, looking backdoor, hits the skate of Lau. Root over to Agostino, opposite corner, back to Root. Cycling play going. Miller and Root. Miller with pressure from Lau, comes back out to Larkin. Larkin shoots it over to Wilson, gaining entry into the neutral zone over the blue line, looking to get around O'Gara. Wilson choosing to skate into, as there's a goal for Colgate.
Yeah, that's a great pass there you saw there. Joe Wilson, if we can slow it down, he threw the puck out between all those sticks and skates out in front onto the point there. It was banged home. You see Wilson skating and just finds Bourdon, I believe, there, picking up that goal. So if we can slow that down again and take another look at the skate, or that pass there from Wilson, it was a real pretty pass through all that traffic.
So hard, came right back out from back to the net.
It's why they say a lot of times a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead you could have in the game. And now you're in a situation where the next goal is a huge momentum shift.
Off the draw, Wilson goes down, picked up by Tyson Spink over the blue line, looking for Sins. Sins with a shot, score for Colgate. It is now tied 2-2 here at Ingalls.
Maybe I won't comment on the next goal being a momentum shift and a 2-goal lead being the worst you could have.
I was going to say, Ron, we might have to kick you out of the booth here. A minute, 16 seconds, and Colgate's evened it up. That one looked like it just took a funky bounce and came up high on Jeff Malcolm. So we can slow that one down for you. Just put on net there by Sins, and it hit off Obakowski's stick. That's what it was. It just deflected up high, and got a new game here. Only 1:16 into the third.
Tough deflection from Malcolm as Spink now comes over the blue line up against Winnick, bounces into the glove of Malcolm.
And Joe's going to hang on to that one, let things settle down here for a little bit. They don't want Spink rushing in with the rest of his crew.
Face off to be taken by Root, joined by Miller and Agostino. One back to Fallon. Fallon off the glass looking for Miller, glove down by Sins. Barely missing his body as Johnston picks it up in his own end, looking for a breakout. Over to Murphy. Murphy over the red line, stopped by Obakowski. Back to Johnston. Johnston to defensive partner Sins as he crosses the blue line, throws it in opposite corner. Malcolm ringing around the boards, picked up by Murphy. Squirts out to Miller, misses Miller over to Corcoran. Obakowski. Obakowski coming through center ice over to Miller. Miller with a shot just wide of the net. Hits Lidget as he comes out of the zone over to Corcoran. Corcoran up to Murphy on the blue line, awaiting that pass. Picked off by Cooper. Cooper up to Young, hard hit at center ice. Young throws it to Balch. Balch trying to get around his defender, pushed away by Mihalik. Back behind the net, another hard hit on Weberg as Price shoots it cross ice. Little backhand pass by McCann, picked up by Rivellini. Back in the Bulldogs' end. Balch settles it for the Bulldogs off the glass. Larkin back over to Rivellini. Rivellini flipping it into the corner. O'Gara goes down, loses an edge. Puck comes back out to Weberg. Weberg off the glass to Ruffalo. Looking for Cooper, picked off by Larkin. Larkin, breakout pass. Big hit from Weberg, allowing Young to pick up the puck. Cooper trying to throw it in, unsuccessful as it comes back over to Lau. Bartlett over the blue line, hit by O'Gara. This puck comes back behind Malcolm. Ruffalo over to Winnick. Winnick up ice to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais loses the puck as Bartlett is able to pick it up. Bourdon throwing it into the netting.
A little bit back and forth here. early on in the third period, about 3.5 minutes old now. Bulldogs trying to get their feet back under them there as to some extent, the energy in this building sucked out a little bit there as 2 quickies from the Colgate Raiders evened us up here.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people were late getting back to their seats, and then by the time they got there, it was tied up.
As we got a discussion here going on. I don't know what we're taking a break here for as the officials skating down center ice discussing something. See Keith Elaine there in his 7th season as head coach of the Yale Bulldogs. Now, it really looks like one of the 2 teams took a timeout here, but got no official announcement as to.
No, I think they're working on the ice right near the right blue line.
You have to imagine they've got better equipment than the linesman's hands if they're trying to fix the ice.
Well,
they got a puck now.
Marginally better equipment.
Sophistication level has gone up through the roof now with our ice equipment here.
Here comes some reinforcements, which should be entering the frame right now. There we go. How many people does it take?
Well, we'll take a look at this break here. Take a look at some of the highlights of the course of the season tonight from senior goaltender Jeff Malcolm. Highlight on him tonight here on senior weekend. He's been a big factor of the Bulldogs' success this year and over the past couple of years. Coming into 17 saves through 2 periods tonight. 18 saves so far on the game in this 2-2 game. So we see Jeff picking up his big saves. Senior goaltender from Lethbridge, Alberta, in his 4th year now with the Bulldogs, and as part of that senior class now that has seen this is their 3rd Ivy League title they've racked up now. Senior class has also been a part of ECAC regular season title. They won the Cleary Cup. They've also won an ECAC tournament, 2 NCAA tournament wins. A pretty impressive resume there. They've won just about everything except for the big one, something they're still looking for and hoping to earn an NCAA tournament berth to go after this year.
Got some cheers from the stands as come out with some more technical equipment. Ooh.
Oh, we've got carbon dioxide. That'll do it for you.
Just what you need to get the student section back in the game is a fire extinguisher on the ice. That'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll freeze it real quick there. Carbon dioxide, solid state's about -80 Celsius, that is. So we use it all the time in the science lab. It's for fun things like this. But, it'll take care of the ice here and get it going again.
Well, we're not too far from Science Hill, right?
Oh, no, Science Hill is right down the corner. Now, if they really wanted to take care of the ice quick, they can break out some liquid nitrogen. That'll get the job done.
I have a feeling our producer, Sam Dorward, knows where to get all these substances really quick.
Well, we'll take a look at those 2 goals here from Colgate that tied it up. The first, a nice pass there. Look at that pass. Look how many legs that gets through. Right out to Bourdon. That gave him that brought it to a 2-1 game. That feed from Joe Wilson there.
It's a really quick goal. I was confused for a bit if it had actually hit the back of the net or Malcolm.
Yeah, it was in and out before you know it. And then Sins throws it off of Obakowski's stick right over the catching glove of Jeff Malcolm. That made it 2-2. Just 1 minute and 16 seconds into the 3rd period. As the fans once again excited with the fire extinguisher here.
Got a party going on in Colgate's end.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how much ice has been chipped off there that they have to resurface it this much. It really makes you wonder if something from the Zamboni caught the spot during the.
When they honored the women's volleyball Ivy League championship team at the first intermission, they were looking to smooth over some of the ice after that.
Yeah.
So you don't know if any of that was lingering and then made worse.
So we'll blame it on their shoes.
Essentially blame the women's volleyball team.
Yeah,
I just said I did see them going to work on a part of the ice.
They happened to be in the same area.
It did.
We'll blame that one on the Ivy League champion women's volleyball team.
I was just looking for another way to recognize their accomplishments and get the fact they were Ivy League champions in.
Well, you see Mahalik's made his way back into the net now, trying to work the crease a little bit, dig in there, give him something to kick off of.
This is ranking up there with the blackout in the Super Bowl in terms of notable delays at a sporting event.
Yeah, Jeff Malcolm there skating around. But one thing this does do, which is kind of nice, is it puts the game here at Ingles a couple minutes behind all the other ECAC contests. So we should have a good idea of what this game means as this one winds down.
The other thing it does is it's like a free timeout for Keith Elaine and the Bulldogs because they had lost the momentum clearly, and now they get to regroup. And if you're Colgate, you hate this because you come in with two, as we just showed, storming third period goals and everything's going your way. And now, an ice malfunction has given Yale maybe a break.
Yeah. Well, about that out-of-town scoreboard, looking at it, Union's up 3-0 on St. Lawrence. Bulldogs fans would probably love to have St. Lawrence win that one. But Union looks coming out pretty strong there in Schenectady. Cornell 3-1 leaders over Brown. Big Red been playing real well as of late. 4 straight unbeaten. Looking to make it 5 tonight before they make the trip down 95 here to New Haven tomorrow. RPI, they've been the team of the second half of the season. They're up 5-0 against Clarkson, a team that's also been playing pretty well this second half. And RPI near the bottom of the standings. Around the midway point of the ECAC season. They've been on fire since.
Yeah, they're a team you do not want to play in the playoffs.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Bulldogs do not want to run into them. Princeton leading Dartmouth 2-1. That's a score that Eli Faithful would love to hold. The Bulldogs currently tied with Dartmouth. 4th place in the standings, both of them with 21 points. And then Quinnipiac leading Harvard. Not that it matters. Harvard can't finish anywhere other than last, and Quinnipiac's locked up first. So
I'll tell you something else about this delay. Look for either team to pepper the net with shots because it'll be interesting to see how this affects the goaltenders.
Absolutely.
Because they've just been having nothing to do. God only knows what's going through their minds. So I would, if I was one of the coaches, I would be telling my guys, take a shot whenever you can because who knows how sharp the goaltender actually is right now.
But looking at the shot count, Yale has really slowed down with the amount of shots. After the first period, they were up 17-7 on the shot chart. Now it's only 25-20.
So Adeline Colgate's done a better job of getting in the lanes, just making life harder for Yale as the game's gone on. At long last, I think we're ready to resume here. About an 8-minute delay from Ingles Rink.
Puck drop at center ice. Wilson up against Bourdon. One back to Sins over to defensive partner Johnston. Flipped into the zone by Bourdon. Wittick chasing it down with pressure from Wilson. Dewick tipping it into the corner over to Orzetti for the breakout. Broken up by Bourdon. Wilson able to get it out of the zone, flipping it into Colgate's end. Orzetti chasing it down. Orzetti goes down. Lagunier looking for possession. Sins comes out instead. Back over to Wilson. O'Gara stops the play with his skate as Lagunier tries to get it off the boards over to Orzetti. He's unsuccessful as Colgate now gets a wholesale line change. Yale looking to get a couple forwards off as well. Wilson carrying through neutral ice, looking for Miller right off the bench. Tyler Spink with the puck over the blue line, joined by his brother. Goes across the slot, uncontested. Root tying up his player in front of the net. Bond behind the net with O'Gara, picked up by Tyson Spink. Cycled back over to Bond. Another cycle play back to Tyler Spink as he skates out with possession. Root trying to grab it off his stick. Off the boards, up to Agostino. Agostino up against Concordant. Unable to finish that as it's picked off his stick by Bond. Back up the boards, Fallon shooting it to Cooper. Cooper to Miller. Miller over the blue line, leaves it for Agostino. Agostino waiting patiently for the shot, saved by Mahalik.
That's a great save by Mahalik because you had Carson Cooper right there anticipating the rebound. He just spun around, stick on the ice, ready to bang anything home, but Mahalik left him nothing. We'll take a look at that initial shot here coming on net from Agostino. You see Cooper waiting for it right there, looking to knock it home, but Mahalik just gets on top of it too quickly.
Back into the corner Be picked up by Larkin. Biding his time behind Mahalik. Looking for an outlet coming out from behind his own net. Leaves it for Lau. Intercepted by Young, throwing it back deep into the Raiders end. Weberg on the forecheck. O'Gara holding the blue line. Comes in Cooper behind the net. Bourbonnais now with the puck. Back out to O'Gara, who shoots it in. Hits Bourbonnais, comes back out to O'Gara. O'Gara back over to Young. Young deep into the zone. Bulldogs get a defensive change as Larkin picks it up behind the net. Passing over to Lau. Lau off the boards, looking for a pass over to Borkowski. As Lidgett tries to enter the zone. Bourbonnais with possession. Bourbonnais decides to skate through his own end. Leaves it for Dewick. Dewick up to Wilson on the boards. Takes a weird hit off that penalty box door as it comes back over to Johnston. Skating through center ice. Thrown out by Wilson. Back up to Lagunier. Lots of turnovers at center ice as it goes back behind Malcolm to be picked up by Wittick. Wittick off the glass to Bourbonnais. Misses Bourbonnais. Shot back into the zone. Back off the boards behind Malcolm. Wittick and Dewick on defense. Up against Rivellini. Goes out under the point over to Price. Back off the boards. Dewick able to pick it off his stick. Bourbonnais flips it out of the zone. Johnson with possession. Pressure from Agostino up to McCann. McCann off the boards. Finds Obakowski instead. Looks for a route to tip it to Miller. Play is broken up by the Raiders. Shot and save by Malcolm.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, Bulldogs looking to lean a bit on that route Agostino Miller line now. It's been probably the most productive line for the Bulldogs all night. When they've had the puck, they've really done a good job of moving around, possessing, and at times even strength has looked like a power play with the Bulldogs' most experienced unit out there.
Takes up back to Fallon, skating it up through center ice, throws it into the corner. Back up the boards. Miller looking for a pass in front of the net. Circling around back over to Obakowski. Obakowski to Ruffalo in the corner with pressure from Price from behind. Wilson throwing it over the head of Obakowski to be picked up by Fallon. Fallon skating it over to Root onto the stick of Miller. Shot and saved by Mahalik. Rebound comes back out to Cooper right off the bench. Cooper skating around. There'll be a delayed penalty on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get Andrew Miller there for a trip in the far corner. See if we can. I was looking a moment ago. Miller doing a good job just to get that puck on net with the Colgate defenseman up in front of him, but it's going to be Yale's captain, incredulous as he is, skating to the penalty box. 2 minutes on the trip. Bulldogs are going to have to kill this one if they want to stay even with the Raiders.
Not a great time to get a penalty. Tied 2-2, almost halfway through the third period now. Face-off won by Colgate. Back to the point, looking for a shot over to Spink. Looking back door, Young gets tripped up in front of Malcolm. Malcolm will go down in the crease. Got a little shoving game going on in front of Malcolm.
This is where, as hard as it is, you got to be disciplined because, especially a man down already, you don't know what the refs would call anytime. So neither team can afford. Colgate doesn't want to lose their power play. Yale can't afford to be 2 down.
Yeah, both of these teams have done pretty well, or rather, the officials have called this game pretty loosely so far, but you don't want to be that guy to put your team down 3-on-5 in the third.
Out to Price from the top of the zone. Shot blocked by a shin pad. Goes in the corner. A minute 37 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs. Back out to the point. Price, cross-ice pass. Shot deflected. O'Gara out of the zone for the Bulldogs. Left for Borkowski in his own end. Over to Price. Price up through neutral ice. Over to Spink. Play broken up by Bourbonnais. Back to Spink on the point. Looking for a shot, Spink to Price. Price back over to Borkowski. Looking to tee up for the perfect shot. Back over to Price. Price to Spink. Back to his brother. Backdoor. Misses the stick of Borkowski. Comes back out to Price. Price with a shot and score for Colgate is now up 3-2.
Yeah, tough to see if that one looks like it took a deflection there on the way in. Be curious to see who they give that goal to on the score sheet. It was Bond leading them through the handshake line, though. Don't know if that's how they'd figure out, or that's how they let the goal scorer celebrate. Tip through, yeah, it looks like Bond got a stick on it, knocking it there, redirecting it, so Jeff Malcolm couldn't make the glove save. But yeah, it's 3-2 Colgate now. That Bulldogs lead is evaporated in 8 minutes and 59 seconds only.
Face off won by the Bulldogs. They just allowed a goal, a man down on the penalty kill. Tommy Fallon over to Miller. Miller back to Fallon at center ice, enters the zone, 3-on-2, gets caught up with Root. That will be a hand pass. Yale is not looking too happy.
Or too sharp, for that matter. You hate to be critical, but to be honest, a team that gives up 3 goals in the first half of the third period on home ice in a game that means so much, NCAA probabilities are the last thing they should be thinking about. Yeah. They got to get their house in order.
Certainly. I'm actually kind of surprised that Keith Lane hasn't gone to his timeout here, or didn't go to the timeout there right after the goal, perhaps figuring it's worth saving it for a critical juncture later in this game, but the team needs to regroup here a little bit.
Maybe because he did have such a prolonged time after the first 2 goals, but you're right. I mean, because this is crucial. I mean, this is a team that expects now. He's raised the expectations that Yale expects to be in the NCAA tournament, and they're very much in consideration right now.
Well, first things first, you got to get that bye for the ECAC tournament. Makes it easier to win. If you win that tournament, who cares what the pairwise says? You're in anyway.
2 wins would give Yale 99% in the bye.
Back in the Bulldogs end it goes. Colgate on offense. As Balt's able to tip it out of the zone. Weberg chasing the puck down hard. Cooper following up the play. Puck instead goes over to Borkowski. Borkowski up to Murphy on the boards. Stopped by Wittick on the blue line. Johnston now entering the zone, picked off by Weberg. Weberg over to Balch, right over the blue line. Since getting in his way. Comes up to O'Gara on the point, over to Young. Shot and big rebound off of Mahalik. Murphy coming now over the red line, shoots it into the zone. Less than 10 minutes left to play in the game. Bulldogs are down 3-2 in this ECAC competition. Day throws it in for Ruffalo to chase down, instead picked up by Colgate. Price on the breakout over to Spink. Back to the Bulldogs it goes. Young off the boards, finds a Colgate player instead, right off the shoulder of Malcolm Bond with the shot from the point. Left down by Corcoran. That'll be another hand pass call on Colgate.
That's going to send that one all the way down. Well, the Bulldogs really need to regroup this one here. And you got to keep in mind that tomorrow night, things don't get much easier for the team. It's a Cornell team that really historically played the Bulldogs well. The Ivy rivalry goes back. It's a team that pushed the Bulldogs all the way to overtime this year. Yale eventually won there. That was a hard-fought game. And it's a team that hasn't lost now in over 2 weeks and looks to be well on the way to winning another one tonight.
Face-off won by Colgate as Bratliff tries to skate it out of the zone. Wilson throwing it back in, picked up by Corcoran. Corcoran over to Price. Fallon kicks it forward. Price following up the play, able to gain possession and throw it deep for Colgate. Over around the boards, over to Borden. Fallon very aggressive on defense, kicks out of the zone, up to Lagunier. Lagunier over the blue line. Puck picked up by Orzetti. Wilson in the corner, over to Lagunier. Lagunier throwing it on net from the side. And it leaves the zone as Fallon, last man back, picks up the puck, loses an edge, Trying to throw the puck over to Obakowski. Obakowski up to Agostino, waiting on the blue line. Agostino over to Root. Root looking for a shot deflected off of Lau's stick.
Yeah, Bulldogs here just need to grind it out, get some zone time, move the puck around, get some looks on net, maybe even try to draw a penalty. They looked good on the power play tonight. And a man advantage here is the kind of thing that might be able to spark them back to life.
Root on the faceoff, wins it back to Miller. Quick shot over the shoulder of Mihalik. Back in the Bulldogs' end for Duick. Duick looking for an outlet, finds Miller on the side, off the boards to Root, intercepted by Murphy. Over to his line mate, over to Burkowski. Root picks it up instead. Hits Johnston on that pass as Malcolm leaves it for Wittick. Wittick trying to poke it over to his defensive partner. Unable to with pressure from Burkowski. Root now in the corner, looking for possession. Miller leaves it for Root, taking a hard hit, looking for Agostino on the blue line. Price is there to intercept that puck. Duick off the boards, looking for Miller. Cooper now coming in on net, thrown back behind by Mihalik. Spink looking, intercepted by Balch, almost gets there. Pinching down on defense, Young trying to hold the zone. Picks that puck up, backhand right into Mihalik's chest.
Well, a couple good looks there for the Elis. It's the kind of zone pressure they really need. And you saw there a couple times Kenny Agostino trying to jump out and take a stretch pass in alone. Bulldogs twice there just couldn't connect with Agostino on the breakaway. You saw Miller doing the same thing, starting to cheat a little bit up the ice, perhaps foregoing their defensive responsibilities a little bit for the chance to jump in there alone.
Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Bourbonnais goes into the corner, back behind Mihalik. Skating around up to Obakowski. Obakowski to Fallon, wide open at the point. Looking to fake the shot, deflected in front of the net. Wilson looking for a backhand play, Lagnier back out to Fallon. Shot by Fallon, blocked by Law as that goes in front of Mihalik. Big rebound shot into Mihalik as the Bulldogs are digging for that rebound.
Well, I think it's definitely fair to say the team appreciates the urgency of needing to tie this one up.
Mihalik wisely collecting himself because that was hairy.
See that again on your screen. Lagnier shooting it back out to Fallon with a shot from the point. Unsure of where that deflection went.
And the fans here in Ingles are saluting the group there of Lagnier, Bourbonnais, and Wilson are coming off for their efforts on that series.
Root, Agostino, Miller will take the ice for the Bulldogs. Still joined by Fallon and Young on the point. Face-off one, back to Young, over to Fallon. That's a roller. Back over to Young. Young finds Miller. Shot off the boards. Agostino trying to throw it back behind him into the slot. Picked up by Root. Root to Agostino. Agostino looking for a spinorama move. Goes into the corner instead. Agostino again with the puck off the boards over to Young. Young back to Agostino. Coming over the top of the circle. Fallon holds the blue line. Shot and tipped by Root. Goes into the corner. Miller back to Agostino. Agostino up to Fallon on the point. Fakes the shot to Young. Young with a shot looking backdoor to Miller. Goes in between his legs. Sits getting in there to break up the play as this line for the Bulldogs is on fire. Root and Agostino on the boards, joined by Fallon. Agostino digging for the puck. Comes out to Root. Root with Miller slides it across top shelf. Andrew Miller for the Bulldogs ties up 3-3.
Wow, what a couple of minutes here for the Elis. They're just pushing it and digging for minutes straight, and finally winning the board battle there. Puck squirts out to Jesse Root, and he finds Andrew Miller, who buries it up high. And we're tied at 3. Root, nice feed here over the stick, and Miller corrals it and puts it upstairs. The only thing I have to really say is, where was this team the past 25 minutes?
Call that senior leadership from Miller right there.
Beautiful goal from Miller. Seeing that Mahalik was going down, goes up top to tie it up for the Bulldogs. Off the stick of Dewick, over to Borkowski in front of the net, uncontested by a Colgate player, back into the corner. The energy is back here at Ingles as the Bulldogs are now tied.
Well, the Eli's need to keep this pressure up, too. No let up here after scoring that goal. Don't let Colgate back in.
Cooper up to Balch. The revitalized Yale team is now taking the ice. Turnover at neutralized, shot well wide of Malcolm. Both Colgate players go into the boards. Wilson and Young looking for the puck. Young with possession over to O'Gara. Less than 5 minutes left to play in the game. Puck comes out to Miller, or Wilson, excuse me. Push off the puck picked up by Rivellini. Back over to O'Gara. O'Gara shoots it over to Obakowski, up to Bourbonnais. Tip it in the zone. Lagunier on the forecheck. Picked up now by Rivellini. Lagunier picks up that aired pass. Back behind the net as he goes down. Larkin now cross-ice pass on the breakout. Colgate coming in on offense. Shot and save by Malcolm. Agostino looking for Lagunier. Lagunier up to Root. Coming in now, looking for a shot. Barely whiffs on that one. Back over to Root from Fallon to Agostino. Obakowski holding the zone as Root gets nailed against the boards. Agostino loses possession. Comes back out into neutral ice. Fallon shoots it up to Miller. Root chasing down the bounce. In front of the net. Shoved away by Johnson. Picked up now by Spink. Back into the Bulldogs' end it goes. Obakowski loses an edge as Spink looks to gain possession from that fall. Bulldogs on the breakout. Dewick up to Miller. Miller over the red line, over the blue line, trying to flip it past Lau. Spink back up to Lau. Lau gains the neutral zone for the Raiders. Spink over the blue line, over to Lau, and that's an offsides call on Colgate.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing it was, because Lau was a couple feet there open just to the right of Jeff Malcolm. As we look back there, the board battle that won it there out to Root, who found Miller in front. That was the goal that tied the game. You see the life, the energy, the crowd there behind the two, and of course the celebration for Andrew Miller. Excited, the bench excited. Keith Elaine, no reaction as per usual, but the Bulldogs,
shockingly, right?
The Bulldogs as a team, jubilant to score that equalizer.
Back in Colgate's end as they look to regroup off the draw. Picked up by Price. Price over to Bartlett. Over to Wilson on the near side. Dewick pushing him off the puck. Back up to Lagunier. Since picks it off of Lagunier's stick. Wilson following up that play. Comes over the blue line, gaining entry into the zone for the Bulldogs. Price back to Bartlett. Wilson intercepts the breakout. Colgate now coming in on offense. Wilson coming through the slot area. Backhand over to Bourdon. Malcolm with the puck.
Oh boy, 2:21 left. Going to be a very interesting couple of minutes here at Ingles Rink.
Going back to that Miller goal, it was scored on Yale's 34th shot of the night. And at the time, it seemed like just 2 minutes of clock time between Yale's 27th and 34th shots on goal of the night. They really had that flurry come in a hurry, and they'll hope for another one in this last 2:21.
Face off one, back to the point, just wide. That shot goes back behind Malcolm. Miller flipping it almost at the height of the scoreboard. Over to Johnston.
It's a big hit there by Agostino, but you got to be careful. You don't want to finish your checks here and pick up an unnecessary penalty.
Murphy over the blue line, looking for a shot, hits the skate of his line mate, comes out in front of Malcolm, looking for the rebound. Puck bounces back on the ice, over to Price, shot from the point wide of Malcolm. Miller throws it out of the zone to give the Bulldogs a break. the chaos in front of the net. Price now with possession over the blue line. Throws it over the heads of Yale's defenseman Malcolm, settling the puck on the ice. Fallon unable to control the puck, comes out to Spink, over to his brother as Cooper is able to flip it out into the stands.
Wow, what a save there. Jeff Malcolm with that leg outstretched. Want to slow that one down for us here as you see how much strength it requires for Jeff to hold that leg real firm there and not let Spink try and carry it through. Just right here, that leg outstretched, just steals the puck and takes out the body. If there are any doubts about Jeff Malcolm's legs right there, I think that answers all of them.
And how fearless he has to be to expose himself that way and be vulnerable.
That's a big play right there, because that's pretty much a sure goal if Spink can get that one to his forehand.
Seems Malcolm was really epitomizing the idea of the goalie being the third defenseman out on the ice, coming well out of his crease.
And the officials here saying that deflection, that shot there into the stands here on the near side, hit off a Colgate stick, so it's coming out of Jeff Malcolm's zone.
Wilson on the draw, joined by Lagunier and Bourbonnais. Up against Tyler Spink, freshman out of Williamstown, Ontario, joined by his twin brother Tyson Spink. Pretty incredible that they play together for Colgate as Yale wins the draw off the stick of Bourbonnais into the zone. Lagunier, big hit. Wilson following up, looking for the deflection. Larkin able to get out of the zone for the Raiders, over to Spink. Spink looking to get around Duick. Duick will have none of that as there's an offsides call on Bond. A minute and 2 seconds left to play in regulation. Bulldogs will get a wholesale line change, sending out their seasoned veterans, Root, Agostino, and Miller.
Bring the action.
Face-off, one, back to Obakowski. Young off the boards, looking for Agostino. As there's 1 minute left to play. Thrown deep in the zone. Miller on the forecheck, up against Lau. Miller coming out, looking for a pass. Cross ice to Young. Young fakes a shot to Obakowski. One-timer right off of a shin pad. Miller now to Root in the slot. That pass is intercepted. Obakowski trying to hold his own in the zone as he has pressure from the Raiders. Off of Obakowski, Bartlett coming in the zone, shoots it back behind Malcolm. Less than 30 seconds left to play the third period.
That one deflected there into the Yale bench. Have to see whether they say that hit the Colgate defenseman skating back there right alongside it. Looks like the officials are going to say no. That's going to go back down to Jeff Malcolm's left with 22.4 here on the clock. And if neither team can score there, we'll head to a 5-minute sudden death overtime. And we'll talk about that when the time comes as these two get ready for the draw here.
Draw to the left of Malcolm. Balch screaming through neutral ice, trying to get around Price. Joined by Cooper. Back behind Mahalik. As Since fights to keep the puck along the boards, not allowing Yale to get anything going. Balch in front of the net. Up against Mahalik, comes back into the corner. That will be the end of the third period. We're at 3-3.
Wow, Josh Balch coming very, very close there. As you see down in the corner, Stu Wilson. Is that Wilson or Balch? That's Balch there, a little bit slow to get up. Josh Balch with about 5 seconds left just carried it out and got it off. It looks like the Mahalik's right pad there off the side of the net. Wow, Balch almost a chance to end it there in the final minutes of regulation. Final seconds, excuse me, of regulation. So with that, we'll head to 5-on-5 sudden death overtime for 5 minutes here. Important to point out when we talk ECAC standings that this is not like the NHL. You don't get a point just for making it this far. If you win this, you get 2, and if you lose, you don't get anything. So there are probably some schools of thought out there that say if you're Yale, you should play this overtime conservatively and just take your point and take any opportunities you can get if they are. Well, let's take a look first at how we got here. Early on, it was a feed from Agostino to Miller. Bomb from the captain there made it 1-0. That was in the first. Second period, Bulldogs added the lead. Bulge found Bourbonnais out front in transition. That made it 2-0. But then early in the third, it was the Raiders coming back. Bourdon off a feed from Wilson there made it 2-1 there. Raiders getting their first one, and then just moments later off the opening draw, Sins firing on net, hitting off Obakowski's stick over the glove of Jeff Malcolm. That tied it at 2. And only a couple of minutes later, it was a deflection there on a shot from the point that gave the Raiders their first lead of the day, 3-2. But with about 6 minutes left in the third, Jesse Root found Andrew Miller in front of the net, who buried it upstairs. And that's where we stand now, 3-3, heading in to sudden death overtime here at Ingalls Rink.
Cheers from the student section. Seems they've all kept their seats. No one has really left the student fan section, trying to get something going for these Bulldogs with 5 minutes left to capitalize on this tied game.
Yeah, overtime's been kind to the Bulldogs this year. They're 3 wins, no losses, and 2 ties in 5 overtime appearances for the Elis. The wins, the big wins against Denver, Colorado College, and then last overtime for the Bulldogs, the win against Cornell on national TV.
Off the draw, goes back behind Mahalik. Agostino on the forecheck. Back over to Lau, looking to break it down. Miller intercepts that play. Back behind Mahalik. Root now cycling, looking to cycle back to Agostino, unsuccessful. The Raiders get a breakout. Lau now coming over the blue line. Duick steps up on defense. Great defensive play. Miller backhands over to Agostino. Agostino joined by Root, loses possession. Root back behind the net looking for Miller. Miller up against Lau. Miller to Young. Bourdon with possession, slides it over to Sins. With sort of 3-on-3 going on right now, looking for a shot, and save by Malcolm comes off the deflection from the boards. Big rebound. Ruffalo out of the zone, shot back in deep. 4 minutes left to go in the overtime. Young up to Lagunier. Lagunier on the blue line up to Wilson, intercepted by Borkowski. Turnover again to Ruffalo now as he goes down along the boards. Lagunier with the puck, coming around looking for a shot, and save by Mahalik.
Ooh, good look by Lagunier there, using his body, trying to get himself buy some time to put that one on net. And quick little snapshot there in on Mahalik. Mahalik not leaving much of a rebound. Some of the Bulldogs taking some short shifts there. That top Agostino Root Miller line not out there for much more than 30 seconds. And they changed once they could.
Colgate coming out their own end off the draw. Spink over to Bond. Bond goes in the boards off a hit from Duick as Balch now goes down to the corner. Up to Cooper, a hard hit on Cooper, comes out to Larkin at center ice. Larkin backhands it in the zone. Slapped down by Duick. Duick with pressure from Spink over to Weberg. Slides past Duick over to Fallon. Now on the boards to Bond. Shot intercepted by Cooper. Cooper looking for Balch off the boards. Comes around. Back in the corner over to Weberg. Weberg into the zone. Back behind the net. Root now cycling back behind Mahalik. Weberg and Lau comes out to the point to Agostino. Agostino with a shot deflected by Spink. I don't know about you guys. I think Yale is trying to dwindle down the time here.
Well, I don't know. The Bulldogs there, I think they were mid-change there trying to get the rest of the Root Agostino Miller line out there, so they were taking their time moving the puck around behind Mahalik.
I think putting it into that protective net was the best thing Agostino could do to force the offensive zone draw and kind of reassert some control over that sequence, because they were a bit shifty, as you said.
2 minutes 49 seconds left to play in the overtime. 3-3 here at Ingalls. Jesse Root on the faceoff for the Bulldogs. One back to Miller, over to Fallon on the point. Fallon with a shot and save by Mahalik as it drops down behind the net. McCann shooting into the corner. Picked up by Johnston. Johnston looking to settle, find a solid outlet, leaves it for Berdon. Berdon coming over the red line, gains entry into the zone. Fallon trying to push him out the puck. Fallon goes down. Obkowski throws it around the boards up to Root. Root looking for Agostino. Lagunier now joins as McCann intercepts the puck. Fallon just tabletops Berdon as the puck comes back out to Agostino. Agostino enters the zone with Fallon and Wilson. Shot and saved by Mahalik. Big rebound. And there's the whistle.
Well, what is that whistle for there? The draw looks like it's going to stay here in the officials look like they're going to keep it. At least all the players expect this draw to stay within St. Lawrence's, or not St. Lawrence, excuse me, rather Colgate zone, but it's tough to see what that whistle was for there.
2 minutes left in the overtime. Cooper on the draw. Colgate wins it back to Price. Price up to Borkowski off the boards, looking for Murphy. Young flicks it off his stick. As Liggett now enters the zone. Cooper backhands off the boards up to Weberg. Back to neutral ice. As Colgate is unsuccessful on the turnaround. Thrown down deep, a minute 30 left in the overtime. Young gets caught up behind Malcolm. Dewitt coming in to help him out. Dewitt cross ice pass over to Cooper on the breakout. Cooper to Weberg off his skate, enters the zone. Bulldogs looking to get a line change as Larkin now passes back over to Lau. Lau up to Bond. Off the boards, back into the Bulldogs, and that'll be an icing call back to Colgate.
Well, here's your chance here. I have to imagine Don Vaughn's going to want to look to the timeout here. Wouldn't be surprised if he called that timeout, delayed as long as possible, and then gave his team a chance to breathe here. Now it's signaling to the officials for the timeout. So here's your chance here for your the Bulldogs to really stack it any way you want and draw up, draw up a play if you want, but really to get the matchup you want out there. As Colgate takes their timeout here, see Keith Elaine and Red Gendron there discussing with the officiating crew for tonight's game. Looking at some of the other scores from around the league that are now final. Union beats St. Lawrence, Cornell beats Brown, RPI beats Clarkson. ECAC scoreboard not updating for the Princeton-Dartmouth game. Don't know how that one ended. There's a shocker for you. Harvard beats Quinnipiac in overtime. So we'll have to see how the other game's going, but some good results for Yale, some less than pleasant results for the Bulldogs there in the standings, as of course it's the time of year to watch the scoreboard.
Take the screen, the Bulldogs are watching that clock. Get some energy up in Ingalls as they are pumping the music, getting the fans on their feet. Root, Miller, and Agostino out for the Bulldogs. A minute and 10 seconds left on this overtime period. We will see if the Bulldogs can pull this win off. Draw one back by Colgate over to Larkin. Larkin looking for the cross ice pass. Agostino picks it up over the blue line.
1 minute left to play in the overtime.
The offsides call on the Bulldogs. 59.7 seconds left.
Yes, Kenny Agostino was just toeing the line there. That one just jumped out for a moment, putting Root Miller in the offsides position.
Face off one, back to Law, shoots it over to Larkin. Larkin looking for Bartliff. Fallon now down the ice it goes. Law in the corner with Agostino looking for Miller. Unable to fire that pass off as he goes down. Back behind the net, Wilson, 40 seconds left on the overtime. Bourdon unable to hold on to it as Agostino flips it over center ice. Coming back now over to Sins. Sins trying to get away from Lagunier. Shoots it over to Price. Price over to his teammate Bourdon over the blue line, looking for a shot blocked by Obakowski. Skate fouled now. Up to Balch. Balch up to Lagunier. 15 seconds left. Over the blue line. Lagunier with a shot and big rebound over to Wilson trying to get a backhand. Goes back into the corner behind Mahalik. In front of the net, goes score for the Bulldogs in overtime.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I don't believe it. I think that one took a strange deflection off of that loose stick that was lying behind the net, and it came out front, and Yale wins. 2.5 seconds left on the clock. You know, I thought it was going to end there with the puck behind the net. It takes a funky bounce, I think, off that loose stick, and comes right out for the Bulldogs to win it there.
Seems Colgate is in disbelief right now. They have not left the bench.
Seems the Yale players are still in disbelief. When have you seen them celebrate like that after a regular season win? My goodness.
That just ecstasy of the players rushing off the bench there to the corner. Just phenomenal. And the Bulldogs win 2 points. Huge for the standings. What a finish. The comeback and then the goal. Yeah, I didn't even see who got that one. Was that Balch there out front, I think? I think it was Balch. Why don't we take a look at that game-winning goal there on our replay here. As the players come down. The puck. We'll slow it down here. Let's take a look at it. Rewind it. Oh, it takes a funky bounce there, and then it's Balch who just jams it up high.
What a great way for Balch to start off his senior weekend here at Ingalls.
Yeah, it takes a weird bounce off the inside of Jeremy Price's leg. And you see the Eli is just run off the bench. And Keith Elaine doesn't even crack a smile.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winning goal.
Well, that's how this one ends here from Ingalls Rink. What a phenomenal ending. Josh Balch gets the credit there on the game-winning goal. Antoine Lagunier gets an assist. 4:57 of the overtime period. 2.5 seconds left. Wins the game for the Bulldogs. What a phenomenal ending here from Ingalls Rink.
I don't think I've ever seen so many smiles coming off of that Yale bench. The energy was incredible here tonight. The fans were great in the end of that overtime period. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Adlon Adams for Max Valentine. We will join you again tomorrow night as the Bulldogs take on the Cornell Big Red.